Yes, 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 yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog. And this is Raw Dope Podcast Vlog. And I'm your host, Hand 5000. And hey, I thank y'all for tapping in. I thank y'all for tapping in. My face a little greasy. You know what I mean? But I thank y'all for tapping in. I thank y'all for tapping in. Face a little greasy. Wow. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I gotta do it again. Yes, 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 yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog. And this is Raw Dope Podcast Vlog. And I'm your host, Hand 5000. I'm tapping back in with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I was here with y'all earlier, and I'm closing the night with y'all. But, hey, I didn't talk about it early this morning, but I'm gonna get into it now. So, we know, Hovey and Diddy been in the media for a while, but now they brought Jayz in a while. And we know that the girl that was allegedly, accused of doing this to Jay-Z had you seen her lying. You know what I mean? Should I say that? You seen her lying. So being as though she was lying, you know what I mean? They caught all in the lie. You know what I mean? Jay-Z lawyer eating her. You know what I mean? Jay-Z and them, the lawyer and Hov and them, they just not playing. And when these allegations happened against the boy, I knew he wasn't playing. You get what I'm saying? And I knew that, he's a strong individual. He's a very, very smart, educated black man. Real intelligent businessman. And I just knew he wasn't going out like that. And I just knew that wasn't his character or his style. So me just being a big fan of Hov and everything that he do, man, I've been covering this. You know what I mean? Just to show support. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that every man record is clean. I'm not ever saying every man got something in his closet that he keep in there. But I'm just saying, everybody ain't doing what they, they alleged him to do. And I liked it as lawyer. You know what I mean? I like the statement that he made. And, being as though his lawyer and Jay-Z and them is crucifying the media. Right now, they crucifying the media. The lawyer is in their ass. And one thing I'm going to say that Jay-Z is falling back from Diddy. I'm going to play the clip right now. He's falling back from Diddy, and I respect it. And a lot of people don't, shout out to Ali, man. Thank you, man. You want to check it out for real? I'll blow it up for you so you can check out Ali, man. There you go, bro. You see that? Ali joint right there. You like that joint? That Ali joint right there for you, bro. But let me get back to what I was saying. So Jay-Z falls back from Diddy. And I'm going to let y'all hear this, and I'm going to tell you why.
Accusers law firm telling NBC News that the woman alleging Jay-Z raped her when she was 13 years old is expected to undergo a voluntary polygraph test tomorrow. This after our exclusive interview with the now 38-year-old mother from Alabama found inconsistencies
like this video,
in her
y'all.
account. We agreed to conceal her identity as an alleged sexual assault victim.
What made you finally want to talk about it?
I mean, nobody was going to believe me back then. Like, nobody.
In the wake of our reporting, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, is pushing a judge to dismiss the accuser's lawsuit.
We expect Mr. Carter
shout out
to
to
be fully cleared
Bill
of all
the
this
shirt, man. Happy G-Day.
Almost nothing that she says is checked out because this never happened.
On the night of the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, the woman says Sean Diddy Combs' limo driver took her to an after party at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. There, the woman says she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time and did not attend the 2000 VMAs. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who drove more than 5 hours to pick her up.
We rode home in silence. She didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not corroborate her story. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. A representative for Carter told NBC News that Jay-Z never attended a house party after the VMAs. They said he went to a nightclub for several hours, then went to his recording studio in Manhattan. In a follow-up phone interview, we asked her about the contradictions, and she said that she stands by her statements.
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive no one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
I haven't asked for a dime from him. Not everything is motivated by money, and I'm sorry that he feels that it is.
The accuser's lawyer says his client remains adamant about her claim that she signed 2 affidavits and that he's waiting for the results of tomorrow's polygraph. Chloe Molas, NBC News.
Thanks for watching.
So, hold up. Man, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Hold up, let me put this in there. Jayz lawyer speak. How y'all doing? Where y'all tapping in from? Where y'all tapping in from? Where y'all tapping in from? Like this video if you just got in here. Let me do Jayz lawyer speak because Jayz lawyer, so I could get into my bag.
When you're trying to evaluate whether something
I think this is when he speaks. Hold up.
Tonight, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, is pushing to get a judge to dismiss the rape lawsuit against his client, citing an NBC News exclusive that found inconsistencies with the accuser's account.
We expect Mr. Carter to be fully cleared of all of this in the coming days. Almost nothing that she says is checked out because this never happened.
This in the wake of our interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who accuses Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs of raping her when she was 13 years old. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she might have some facts wrong, but that she says the incident happened. What do you say to that?
You know, anybody, when they make up a claim, they can just keep repeating it and getting it right. But you never get the details right. And what happened during her interview with you is that the story began to unravel.
On the night of the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, she says Combs' limo driver took her to an after party. There she says she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. That's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens...
No, that ain't it. I don't want to keep playing that.
Right now, the latest on Jay-Z, the music mogul's attorney fired back at the... Right now, the latest on...
And fellow rapper Sean Diddy Combs urged white residents with a gate U-shaped driveway. Spiro disputes her account.
There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist.
Spiro also claims this photo of Jay-Z at a VMA's after party at the Lotus Club is proof that he was at a different location from where the woman says the rape occurred. The defense says that no witnesses have corroborated
but I'm gonna
her
get straight
story.
to it. So, what I'm getting to is Jay-Z lawyer put out a statement that, you know, he don't really deal with Diddy like that. So I know a lot of people like, oh man, that's his man, he doing this and that. But I'm gonna tell you something, right? When this first happened, Jay-Z wasn't speaking negative about Diddy. Now, Diddy was never in Jay-Z's circle, and Jay-Z was never in Diddy's circle. But they did business. You know, they did business, they did music. You know what I mean? You rub shoulders. Professional athletes kick it, and they don't be the best of friends. What I'm saying is, I know people like, oh, that's supposed to be his man. He said, and his lawyer said that Jay-Z, you know, did like anybody else, sporting events, party, VMAs, they support one another, but they not, you know what I'm saying, they not in the same circle, and that's true. That's true, and even if they was in the same circle and they was friends, you have to fall back because now your heat has rolled over to me. Now people want to put me in lines and games. I got to stay away from that. Holler at me when you come home. And you know what I mean? You got to understand that, and if you like hip-hop and you know anything about hip-hop or just business or the streets, like you don't want to be a part of nobody case. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to be a part of nobody's case. You get what I'm saying? You don't. You don't want to be a part of nobody's case. You know what I mean? It is. He ready to brief you right now. Ready to play the whole little joint right now. Hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the channel, man. It's a little dry today. Ain't in the algorithm.
When you're trying to evaluate whether something occurred, you have to look at different pieces of the narrative. The location, where it happened, the witnesses, who were they, what did they say, the details. Details are very important in time. So we start off with the location, and according to their complaint, after approximately 20 minutes, she arrived at a White House with a
this Jay-Z lawyer full briefing on this.
There is no such location in New York, 20 minutes from Radio City. It does not exist. There is no such location. We don't know whether they created a location in order to try to get jurisdiction in New York so they could bring this case in New York, or whether they just didn't do their homework. But any New Yorker knows there is no such location.
Right.
Beyond that, this was supposed to have taken place at Mr. Combs' after party, according to them. When you look at the homes associated with Mr. Combs during that period of time,
like the video, man. Like the video. Like the video.
Matches. He had a townhouse. He had a house in the Hamptons, hours away, and he had homes in New Jersey, but not at that time. None of the homes work. The location doesn't work because this never happened. And again, when you really bear down on the location and his whereabouts, you quickly realize, because there's photographic evidence and witnesses are coming forward, that Mr. Carter was in a commercial establishment after the VMAs. He wasn't at a house. Unfortunately for them, they needed to create this house in order to create the narrative. But he wasn't at a White House that did not exist. And this is a photograph of him at a location after the VMAs. So, as we can continue to feature this, Jane Doe does not say that the assault happened at a commercial establishment. She can't. That wouldn't make any sense. Yet they stand by it. They double down, they triple down. White House, the White House doesn't exist. And then we get to the witnesses. And I think at the outset, everybody has to remember that in 24 years, not a single witness has ever come forward saying this happened. Quarter of a century. Think about that. She says she's at the party alone, this 13-year-old girl, and she finds herself in the room with the three most famous people at the party. Just think about how unnatural, how little common sense that makes. And according to her, one of the witnesses is a female celebrity who's just standing there watching the repetitive rape of a child. That celebrity does nothing, says nothing, reports nothing. And in fact, they won't even identify her. According to them, there's an adult female in the room watching the rape of a child. They refuse to identify her. So then we continue, and you look and there's celebrities that she says she's mingling with before. Afterwards, she says she runs out of the house naked. Runs out of the house naked. None of them notice that. None of them pay any notice. For 24 years, none of them has said anything. And so she's just asked in this interview, she's asked, well, I mean, celebrities are recognizable people. Surely you can tell us one celebrity that was there. Just give us one name so that we know this happened. And she says, okay, Benji Madden was there. And she wants to conjure up religion and say, I'm religious, I remember his tattoo. She looks and remembers so vividly the tattoo and the conversation with Mr. Madden. Well, Mr. Madden wasn't there. He already said he wasn't there. His tour schedule says he wasn't there. And he wasn't there because this never happened. None of this ever happened. And you keep going, and you ask yourself, well, who is this complaining witness? She does not come forward with her real name. She proceeds under Jane Doe. There's no report to the police. According to her, she never tells anybody for 24 years. Not one person, not alone in the car for 5 hours at home, on her way home. Not one person, not a diary, not a family member, not a friend. Most people, when this happens, there's a need to tell somebody. We call these prompt outcry witnesses. In most complaints like this, people tell somebody. She says nobody for 24, 25 years. And then we get to the details. And I want to make sure this is clear. When people make up an account whether intentionally or their mind is playing tricks on them. They can always get that core part of the story right. They can just keep repeating it over and over and over again. This is what happened, that core part. But they're always going to mess up the details. When something isn't real, when something doesn't happen, you're going to get the details wrong because you weren't really there. And so she starts with her story about her friend that dropped her off. Okay? This drive of over 5 hours, the friend would have had to have gone 10 plus hours to drop her off. Because she's got to get there. If this is real, she's got to get there. But guess what? This friend of hers, she doesn't get out of the car. Right? Think about that. She's just leaving a 13-year-old girl alone in Midtown. She doesn't even want to get out of the car. She came all that way. There can't be a witness there. She can't have a witness there because this never happened. So as you keep going, you ask yourself, but how did she end up in the car in the first place? And so she creates this story. She says, I snuck out the window, right? But now we know she came from Rochester. So she would have been sneaking out of the window at 3 in the afternoon in the middle of broad daylight. Never heard of such a thing, defies common sense, doesn't make any sense because this never happened. And so she tells this story because she's got to create a way that she gets out of the house and ends up in New York City. And as we keep going here, the friend that implausibly leaves her there, there's then some pressure on that part of the story because it doesn't make any sense. And so the lawyer is asked, well, just produce the friend. And so he has to find somebody that can make this work. And of course, as soon as he's pressed, they find somebody who they say is no longer alive. They can't corroborate it, and there's nobody to talk to. Okay, and if we can keep going. Next slide. So she then gets there, right? And she has this vivid tale of watching it on a Jumbotron. It's in her complaint. Clear as day. There was no Jumbotron that year. Okay? I don't know whether they were Googling images and found the wrong year. I don't know whether she's just making it up out of whole cloth. There is no Jumbotron. In fact, they didn't even get a permit, according to the police and the city, for the Jumbotron that year. So that didn't happen. None of the details are right because this never happened. If we can keep going. And then she says, I'm knocking on the doors and the windows of limousines and VIPs. Of course, that doesn't work either. If you look at the video, photographs, that whole area was blocked off. We've spoken to numerous people there that were in security. No one could have gotten anywhere near those cars because this never happened. She gets that fact wrong. And you know the whole story about, of all people, she knocks on Puff's window. 13-year-old girl in Midtown by herself. Just think about that. Think about how illogical that is. Keep going. Again, this is Eminem performing in the streets. No Jumbotron. All the cars barricaded. Her facts don't check out because this never happened. We keep going. So what ends up happening then, and this is important, is her original account in the original complaint says that at 9:30 or 10, she's told to wait there to get a ride to the after party. Okay? That also doesn't work because there's photographs now of Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter at commercial establishments in New York after the VMAs. So this narrative of at 10 o'clock she ends up at this party can't work. They got caught. So they change it in the amended complaint that there's this multiple drop-off and pickup that lands them at this White House that doesn't exist. So as we continue, this is again her account of trying to change the story into this multiple drop-off period to get them at the house to deal with the fact that there's photographic evidence that that's not where the after party was in the first place. And so as this account continues, you have to look at the timeline. You have to look at the timeline. So there's an old expression that time doesn't lie. Everything else that I'm talking about, these glaring inconsistencies, these are not minor inconsistencies. These are not minor problems with this story. This is utter falsehoods. Time never lies. And so if you look at the time, no matter what, this couldn't have happened. It's not even possible that this happened. And this is so important. So again, now that we know that it's a 5-hour drive in each direction, how she gets to the VMAs, okay, we're going to talk in some detail about this White House and whether or not they could have gotten there. And then again, Doe returns home to Rochester, okay? And this is very important. Because she returns home, she has to leave the New York area by 1:30 in the morning at the latest, okay? If you look at any of these White Houses, and you look at the closest gas stations that could be to any of these White Houses, you have to leave this White House party by 1:30 in the morning at the latest. Okay? If you look at any of these White Houses and you look at the closest gas stations that could be to any of these White Houses, you have to leave this White House party by 1:30 in the morning at the latest. Okay? If you look at any of these White Houses and you look at the closest gas stations that could be to any of these White Houses, you have to leave this by 12:45 in order to get to the gas station at 1:30 to call your father to pick you up to get home to Rochester at 6:30. So remember, she only has till 12:45 for everything that she says to have happened. The VMAs end at after 11. So you're talking about a window of a little more than an hour that this could possibly have happened, even by their own account. And she says, during that little bit more than an hour, not only does she get to the house, not only is she inside mingling with celebrities, she has a drink, she's then sexually assaulted in front of an adult female multiple times. She gets out of that, she fights through it, she leaves the house naked, she gets all the way to the gas station. She had 37 minutes to possibly do this. Okay, even under their account. Okay, and of course, the biggest problem, perhaps of all, is there's photographs putting Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at different places, not in a White House during that 37 minutes. So when I tell you that it's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true, it's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened. So, we talked about this 37 minutes. The earliest, even if we didn't have that establishments, remember, this is innocence on top of innocence. Even if we didn't have that, according to her, the earliest they could have gotten to the house is 12:11. And the reason for that is, if the VMAs end and the drive is 20 minutes, the driver has to go there, drop them off, come back, pick her up, bring her back. She can't get there. And again, this is lickety-split. This is as fast as is possible, okay? This is no traffic leaving Radio City in Midtown during an awards ceremony. 12:11. She has to leave that white residence by 12:48 in order for her father to pick her up at the gas station. 37 minutes, that's the entire window of opportunity here. So, here again is the timeline, shows the 11:11 VMA's end, the drop-off, the pickup, and the drop-off. Next slide. And again, here we are, you see the 37 minutes, this is the 42 minutes it takes to walk, this is the closest gas station, and this is, remember this is a 13-year-old girl walking, who has issues, who is maybe drugged according to her, who's just been viciously raped multiple times, who was holding her own clothing trying to get to a gas station that she had never been before. Okay? No map, no cell phone, no nothing. Straight line, it's 42 minutes. Okay? The store doesn't work, it doesn't check out. Okay? This never happened. Next slide. These are all the things that they claim happened in that 37 minutes. Okay? And again, 37 is giving them every benefit of the doubt as how long this window could be. Every benefit of the doubt. But here's an even bigger problem. There are photographs of Mr. Carter and Mr. Combs at commercial establishments during the 37 minutes. They're not there. Even if you try to come up with the fastest possible timeline, I'm talking about no traffic, nobody getting in your way at the door, right to the bar kind of timeline, it still doesn't work. Because they had to leave Radio City, they had to go to the commercial establishments. Mr. Combs is photographed at 2 different commercial establishments, which has 2 establishments. They had to go to both of those establishments and get back to the White House. Get back to the White House before she has to leave at 12:30. None of this can work. And in fact, and I think this is very important, you will notice in the photographs that Ms. Lopez changes clothing between the 2 events that they go to in New York City. You can see in one photograph she's wearing one outfit and another. So she had to be able to, in this 40-minute window, get to multiple events. They're seen drinking, socializing. She has to change outfits, change her hair, all within 40 minutes to get to that White House in time. And you're saying to yourself, so that's not possible. You're right, it's not possible. It's because this never happened.
Right.
And then we get to the end. She kept running until she reached a gas station. A female clerk noticed her, allowed her to use the phone. Plaintiff called her father, admitted that she had lied about her whereabouts. And this is a very small thing, very small. But remember, when you leave house and you're 13, you have to have a story. You either have to sneak out and not have a lie, or you tell your parents a lie. Sort of 2 options, right? Earlier, She says, well, I didn't tell my parents a lie. I stuck out the middle. Right? Here, she says, well, I lied. See? Do you know what that means? That means she's lying within her own story. They can't both be true. And you know, I said earlier that no witnesses had come forward.
Hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button.
Except for one. Now there's one. Her own father. The person who knows her best. And he came forward too. And he said, you know what? This never happened. This never happened. And his attention was drawn to it. You know, I feel like I would remember that. You know, and they said, but you've got a lot going on. Maybe you forgot this. You've got a lot going on. They told him, listen, you've got a lot going on. Try to see if they pressed him, if he stuck to his story. He said, yeah, I have a lot going on, but that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. Of course it would stick in your mind. You drove 10 hours to pick up your 13-year-old daughter in New York City.
Right.
It's not something you would forget.
Not at all.
It's not something that he did forget, because this never happened.
Right.
And of course, just like the friend that couldn't
That's
be there
a fact.
at the beginning, you can't have a witness to something that never happened. When asked, well, what did you say to your father in the car? What did you talk about?
We was quiet.
Nothing. She says, not a word was spoken. There can't be a conversation, because this never happened. And so, you got to ask yourself what's going on here, right? And you all saw that videotape of her being interviewed in the shadowy room. She's holding a teddy bear. She's talking about her issues, her head trauma. She's been through a lot in her life, you can tell. And so, who took advantage of this? Why are we here? Why is this story getting created? And I'll tell you who took advantage of this. This lawyer took advantage of this. That's what's going on here. And you can see here, now that this is starting to unravel and the truth is coming out, he's starting to walk away from it. He's saying, oh, sorry, this case was referred to our firm by another firm, so I didn't really check it out, is basically what he's saying. Right? He brings an accusation like this, attacks a man with the integrity of Mr. Carter, and all he has to say for himself now is, well, I didn't really check on this. I got a referral, I made a little bit of money, so we just went live with it.
Damn.
Here is again the timeline that he went live with. In the face of this irrefutable, time doesn't lie evidence, he went live with it. And again, it doesn't work. This 37 minutes, it does not work. It does not work because there's photographs.
Right.
There's photographs. You can find them on the internet of them. They're changing clothes. She's changed clothes. Do you know how long that takes for her to go to 2 events, change clothes, get inside, have drinks, they're socializing, they're not popping into these events. To then get back out into the suburbs somewhere in a house that doesn't exist? It's not possible. Actually not possible. He is for sure innocent of this accusation. Next slide. But you know, this lawyer, he doesn't care about things like this. The only other person he's brought a complaint against for just mere association, merely being at a Sean Combs party, he's already been wrong about that one too. He had to change that one. If you look at the next slide, he got the year wrong. He said there was a party in the Hamptons. Mr. Combs was in Saint-Tropez at the time. Didn't check out. 2 claims, neither are checking out. If we could keep going. And we have this, individuals calling my office telling me story after story, and I'm not going to get sidetracked. People think I'm going to start saying, explaining he's a grifter and all these things about him. I'm not here to talk about him more than I need to. But there's people calling the office saying, yeah, they were being pressured to say stuff, to say that they were with Mr. Combs. These are affidavits. They're filed in court. This is what you're dealing with here. Next slide. And so this is who took advantage of the woman in the shadowy video. He gives a press conference, 1-800 number, and he claims 2 days after posting that press conference, 2 days, that he has 120 fully vetted plaintiffs. 120. Anybody that does this for real, anyone that knows what they're doing, knows to corroborate, to interrogate, and to be sure about even one person takes weeks. One person. You've got to find out if their story makes sense. Did they really get dropped off? Does any of it check out? Is there corroboration? Are there any witnesses? It takes weeks for one. He had 120 in 2 days. When he files his cases, He doesn't even enter his notice of appearance. He just has some other lawyer file and he holds these press conferences. He says, listen, anybody out there, just call the 1-800 number. If you can put yourself anywhere near Sean Combs' party at any point, we can go after the other celebrities there. We can make money together. Just call the 1-800 number. That's all you need to do. And then we'll send a letter to the celebrity. They're not going to want to have this in the public light. And they're going to be shaken down and they'll send us money. So he just call the number. And Mr. Carter said no. He said, it's not going to happen anymore. I'm going to put my foot down. And that's what he did. And I would urge any other celebrity that's being shaken down right now to do the same thing and to stand with truth. None of this ever happened. And what this 1-800 lawyer is doing, he's taking the justice away from this. He's destroying.
They called him a 1-800 lawyer.
This opportunity and the voices of real victims. And it's got to end. So, are there any questions? Yes.
Question. So for the people that are calling your office, I'm assuming if it's not dismissed, like worst case scenario, you guys move forward to try to show that everything you just told us. What evidence are you guys submitting other than the accounts that you do over the phone? Like, do any of those people calling you have like emails between them and BuzzFeed or text conversations where they're encouraging this stuff?
Yeah. So let me divide that question into two if I can. We expect the case to be dismissed. If it's not, eventually this will all crumble because it can't possibly have happened mathematically. You don't even need witnesses. They don't have any witnesses because this never happened, and you don't need witnesses because the time doesn't work. Just there's literally photographic evidence that proves that this could not have happened. In terms of what's going to happen to Mr. Busby for this racket and everything else going on, time will tell. But this is how things unravel. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Who is Lex Intelligence, and has your firm ever hired them in connection with Tony Busby to investigate Tony Busby as he's alleged?
I don't know that firm, don't know those people, and the answer is no.
So this might just be an extension of the first question, but you said that there were people calling saying now they pressured to say that with Mr. Combs. Can you elaborate on that, please? Are they calling you to say that they've been pressured?
Yeah, there was a witness that came forward that contacted my office and submitted an affidavit in court regarding this that accounted for what occurred on that day, which was they called the Busby firm, they said they had an inquiry. The inquiry had nothing to do with Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter, or any of this. And the people at the Busby firm said, well, why don't we try to push this in the direction of the Combs case? That's a better decision in sum and substance. That's a better way to go here. This individual refused to do that, contacted my office and signed it, and then an affidavit was submitted to court. Yes?
You mentioned the letters that Busby's been sending out to unnamed celebrities in relation to these Combs lawsuits. What were your interactions on behalf of Mr. Carter before he was renamed to the amended complaint?
Well, after the letter was received, we obviously knew this was completely false and we weren't going to be shaken down, so the efforts were nothing because there was nothing to discuss in any meaningful way.
Do you know who the Jane Doe is, like her actual identity? Has there been research into that on your end?
Yeah, because it's a fair question. Because she's been blacked out in the video and because a court has not unmasked her in court, I'm not going to get into her identity. You will notice that I did not get into some of her issues.
Right.
I don't want to. It's really sad in many respects, and I don't want to get into that. So I'm not going to unmask her here today.
Has the accuser tried to reach out to Mr. Carter before, or any of his camp or anyone?
Not to my knowledge. Yes.
Dang. Bugsby a dirty dog, man.
No, and I would hope not after what's going on here. Yes.
You mentioned in your recent filing on this docket that you were intending to file a motion to dismiss. What's the timeline on that? Are you working with?
Yeah, so we did file a motion to dismiss the day after this was filed.
Right.
The Rule 11 letter, which basically says that a lawyer is not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to not vet a claim and file a false claim in court, or it needs to come down. The way that works, and it's a little technical, is that the court has to allow you to file faster than you should otherwise be allowed to file. So we are hopeful that the court will respond today, and we will file that. If not, there are other things that we're going to do to bring the truth to light. Are there any other questions? Yes?
Are there any witnesses who will be corroborating Mr. Carter's testimony that he was not there that night? Or is that sort of what you're hinting at, that if necessary, you will provide those people?
Yeah, I mean, it's like asking to corroborate something that never happened. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of people that are going to say there was no party at the White House, that put all of these celebrities where they're already put in photographs, in different places, not in the White House. Remember, according to her, all three of these people, I mean, you all have seen the photographs. I mean, on the internet, I just showed you some. All three of these people would have had to have been at this White House together, alone in a room. Just think about that. Alone in a room with this 13-year-old girl at exactly the time that they're in commercial establishments. So there's no proof better than time. But of course, there are going to be people that are going to say that they were all out that night and nowhere near a White House, and they went to an after party at a commercial establishment. This is all fantasy.
If this case is dismissed after that, you guys have decided they're going to.
So, Jay-Z lawyer basically crushed him. Jay-Z lawyer crushed him, bro. This was a whole lie. Tony Busby, a dirty dog. You know what I mean? I ain't got to play no more from Jay-Z, you know, attorney. That's his Forbes breaking news. He had a press conference about it. But then also in his conference, he mentioned that Jay-Z, you know, and Diddy not friends. And a lot of people taking that the wrong way. A lot of people taking that the wrong way. At the end of the day, you know, Diddy is in his trouble. And if Jay-Z was supporting him in any type of way, you should support your man or your homeboy. But this shit has bottled out of control, whereas though they got me with, you know, rape allegations and shit I never did. So I have to totally you know what I mean? We got to disconnect all that. And that's what he did, bro. And I don't think nothing bad about what Jay-Z did at all, bro. I don't think it's nothing bad, man. You know what I'm saying? He falling back from him. He got to fall back there. He got to get his name cleared, fall back from him, holler at you when you come home, man. And that's just the way this goes. You know what I mean? Anytime that because, you know somebody and you're affiliated with somebody through music or that's your man and then they pulling you up on some wild shit like this, yes, you're going to separate yourself from them. Ain't no love lost. Ain't no love lost and ain't nothing wrong with what Jay-Z doing. It's nothing wrong with saying, man, I'm going to fall back from this. I can't handle it. You know, these some serious allegations. And the girl lying on Diddy too. So there's so many people that's lying on Diddy too. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Diddy gonna get his justice because Diddy got a bag. It's like Jay-Z got a bag and they got powerhouse attorneys. So, you know, Diddy gonna make some shit shake. And the lawyer proving that Jay-Z lawyer is proving that Diddy didn't even do the shit. You get what I'm saying? So that's just, you know what I mean? That's a plus. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, I respect that. And I'm just saying, man, I'm just glad that, you know what I mean, early on in this, we got to the bottom of this. And if you're lying, you're not going to come out and play no games with this man. So next, we got a little Durk. You know what I mean? We got a little Durk. We got a little dirt on the chopping block. Lord Durk, man. It's another thing with Lord Durk, man. These guys, man, got some high power attorneys, man. The new thing on Durk and the new evidence they got on Durk, you know, a few outlets reported it. One of Baltimore, keeping the G News, he reported and he got down to the, you know, nitty gritty, you know what I'm saying, with it. But I look at it like this, you know, the Durk situation is like this. They found out that he didn't book 3 different flights. And the reason why he booked it, the private jet, was because Charlene was good. He booked the private jet because, you know, the flight to Dubai was too long. And they said this was a place that he was going at. And then the song that they using in the paperwork, he did the song 7 months, and the producer and the files, you know, that's in it, that's in the computer that you pretty much can't change, you know, it's in, you know what I mean, it's in the air. So his lawyer's proving that, you know what I mean, some of this that they got is bullshit. So Durk gonna be, you know what I'm saying, Durk gonna be good, man. I think so. After this shocking revelation came out and that you proving that these guys that got the money to fight are proving that how corrupted the system is. Straight up, these guys that got money to fight is proving how corrupt the system is. And unfortunately, it's been guys, you know, caught up in the system. It's men and women caught up in the system now that families don't got the money and families scraped up the money and, you know, just don't got, you know, the right tools to prove these lies. But I think these celebrities like Durk and Jay-Z is going to make a difference because you're going to prove how a lot of men and women been getting over for years, man. Make sure y'all hit that notification button. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. Drop a like, leave a comment. I ain't want to hold y'all up. that night. I just wanted to jump in the algorithm, keep the content moving, man. So Jay-Z falls back from Diddy. I don't see nothing wrong with that. There's too much going on with Diddy. We got separated, and I never thought that they was, you know, buddy. You know, they might hang out together, but I ain't think they was in each other in a circle, man. So, man, free Diddy, man. I'm glad Jay-Z got a power lawyer and getting them off on that. And that boy Durk, man, keep your head up. Because they got Durk talking about he using three-way calls. They just got a whole bunch of gibberish to say all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Once they get you behind them doors, man, it's different, man. So, hey, listen, make sure y'all hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Raw Dope, the Raws and Dopest interviews, vlogs on the planet. About to hit y'all in the head with a couple interviews. 2025 coming in. I'm going to turn up like always, man. Remember the cardinal rules that I stand by. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet. Raw Dope Podcast.